Welcome back to Dramatic Trash Reading with Sarah. So I've got 3 new chapters for you guys today. So we are slowly making our way through this 22 chapter monstrosity. I have obviously changed locations. I'm now in my downstairs bedroom that belongs to my parents when they come and visit. So hopefully the audio is less echoey. I can't apparently English today, than when I was in my kitchen. There should be less dog nail clicks and collar jingles, though I think he may have been whining through it because, once again, my dog doesn't like it when I sit at a desk and ignore him. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you to all of my new subscribers and the almost 200 people who have viewed my last video. I think most of you guys are Nickies, which, thanks, sneaks. Alright, so enjoy the next 3 chapters of Not Rejected, Just Unwanted. Dramatic. Trash reading with Sarah. Chapter 2. After my encounter with Elijah, I didn't feel up to staying at school, so I went to my teachers and gathered my work for the day. That way I wouldn't fall behind. Once I had all of today's assignments, I started making my way to the office to sign out. Unfortunately, the universe hates me today, because pretty soon after I left the office, I was surrounded. The group of guys and girls that surrounded me looked like they wanted to murder me. "What do you think you're doing?" one of the girls sneered at me. "Excuse me, might I ask what you're talking about?" I asked, totally confused. Another girl walked up to me, and I suddenly felt a hard stinging sensation across my cheek. "Don't play dumb." "But I don't know what you guys are talking about." I didn't get to finish due to one of the guys punched me in my stomach. It wasn't soon after that they all closed in around me, punching and kicking any part of me they had in their view. As quickly as I could, I curled into the tiniest ball I could. Trying to protect my head was the only thing on my mind. After someone got a hard kick to my stomach, I started to taste the metallic flavor of blood. "What is going on here?" somebody yelled. Whoever it was, they radiated power. All the kicks and punches came to a screeching halt, and I took the chance to cough out some of the blood that had invaded my mouth. "Back away from her," the mystery person said. "But Al—" "Now!" he demanded. Everyone slowly dispersed, mumbling to themselves something I couldn't understand. I didn't even attempt to move from my position on the floor. Soon after, everyone was at what I assumed to be a safe distance from me. The mystery person ordered everyone to go to class, saying he'd deal with them later. After their footsteps disappeared, I felt a sudden hand touch my arm, and I flinched at the sudden contact. "Hey, it's okay. I won't hurt you." I slowly uncovered my face, looking to see who it was that saved me. But my eyes wouldn't focus, and everything was a bit blurry. The guy helped me into a standing position, but a wave of dizziness came over me, and I started to fall. "Whoa, easy there," he said. "Let's get you to the school doctor." I just nodded and held on to him to stay steady. It didn't take long to get there, which I was extremely grateful for. I sat there while the mystery guy told the doctor what had happened. I started blinking rapidly, trying to clear my eyes. Much to my delight, it worked. However, my heart stopped at the sight of the one who had saved me. "Alpha?" I let out a surprised gasp. Standing before me next to the school doctor was none other than future Alpha, Jonathan Nelson. I honestly didn't know how to react. I wasn't sure he even knew who I was, but despite that, he still helped me. "Her wounds are extensive, and I don't have the proper equipment to treat her here. She should be taken to the Pack Hospital as soon as possible," the doctor said. "All right, thank you." I started to stand up and head to the door as best I could with how much pain I was in. "Where are you going?" he asked. "I was going to my car, sir." "You can barely walk and you're planning on driving?" He let out a little chuckle. "Yeah, no, not gonna happen. he said before picking me up and carrying me out of the doctor's office. I was too shocked and hurt too much to try and get him to put me down and go back to his class. So instead, I just rested my head against his chest, hoping to relieve some of the headaches I had acquired. We were almost to the front door when someone stopped us. "What do you think you're doing?" I know that voice, the voice that came from the same person with the beautiful brown eyes that had pitied me not too long ago. It was the voice of the one who had crushed any hope I had. It was the sound of my mate, and he did not sound happy. Chapter 3. Jonathan stopped and turned towards Elijah. "Hey man, I was just taking this girl to the pack doctor," he said, motioning towards me with his head. What happened?" Elijah said with concern written all over his face. I didn't want to look at him, so I turned my head into Jonathan's chest. I could feel tears start to prick at my eyes as I fought to keep them from falling. Jonathan must have noticed my change in demeanor because he tightened his hold on me slightly, almost to make me feel protected. "A group of pack members jumped her earlier. The school doctor said she doesn't have the proper equipment to treat her wounds here, so I'm taking her to the pack doctor." Elijah took a few steps towards us and extended his arms. "Here, go back to class. I'll take her," he said, looking Jonathan in the eyes. Anyone could tell he was angry. About what, I wasn't completely sure. I mean, he couldn't be angry about Jonathan holding me. He made it very clear he didn't want me. Either way, I didn't want them to miss classes because of me, so I made my way out of Jonathan's arms and found my balance. "Thank you for saving me earlier, Alpha. But you shouldn't miss class. I'll drive myself to the pack doctor," I said to him with the best smile I could muster with my busted lips. I bowed to him out of respect before limping my way to the front door. I, however, didn't get very far before another wave of dizziness washed over me and I fell to the ground. Before I hit the ground, I felt warm hands catch me. No sparks erupted, so I knew it must have been Jonathan. Soon I was once again in his arms and being carried. "Go back to class, Elijah, and tell Rose I said hi," he called back, not even looking in his direction. We soon made it outside, and he walked straight to his black Chevy Impala. He carefully set me down in the passenger seat before buckling me up and getting in the driver's side. "What about my truck? I'll need it to come to school tomorrow," I asked quietly. "I'll have Elijah bring it to your house," he trailed off. "I'm sorry, but what is your name?" he asked, confirming my assumptions that he, in fact, had no idea who I was. "Rain Andrews, sir," I said, staring at my hands in my lap, like they're the most interesting thing in the world. He nodded and started the car and made the way to the pack doctor. It didn't take long to get there, since there was little to no traffic. He pulled up to the front entrance and carried me inside. The lady at the front desk took one look at me and ran to get the doctor. Jonathan carried me to an examination room and laid me down on the table. The doctor came shortly after and started assessing my injuries. "Well, you have a sprained wrist, 2 broken ribs, and a minor concussion," he said, writing everything down on his clipboard. "How long until she's healed?" Jonathan asked. "Well, she doesn't seem to be healing properly, so we'll have to run some tests to see." I nodded and thanked him before he left to get the equipment needed. I glanced over at Jonathan to find him looking at me with a face full of curiosity. "You should go back to school, sir," I said quietly, trying not to agitate him. "Don't call me sir, that makes me sound old," he said, chuckling. "Just call me Jonathan, and don't worry about me missing class." I simply nodded and waited for the doctor to come back. Silence fell over us before he decided to speak up again. "So what's up with you and Elijah? I've never seen you two hanging out before." I stiffened, a bit unsure of how to answer that. I'm almost positive that Elijah didn't want anyone to know that he and I are mates. So what am I supposed to tell him? Nothing's up. We just bumped into each other earlier this morning." "It's not a complete lie. I mean, we did bump into each other." "You're a terrible liar," he said. "What really happened?" he asked, walking up to the bed. I avoided his gaze. "He probably doesn't want anyone to know," I said, hoping he would drop it. "What doesn't he want people to know?" Of course he doesn't drop it. "Don't make me use my alpha tone." I let out a defeated sigh. "I'm his mate." Chapter 4. What? Jonathan asked in astonishment. When did you find out? This morning. What was taking the doctor so long? Please let him walk in soon so I didn't have to explain everything. Rose is going to be devastated, he said to himself. You could see the pity for her, clear as day on his face. No, she won't, I said, sadness leaking into my voice. What do you mean? Why wouldn't? I looked away from his questioning gaze. Because he doesn't want me. Because he chose her, I interrupted, trying not to cry. Jonathan opened his mouth to speak again when the doctor finally showed up. He walked in with a tray and a weird-looking machine. Okay, Ray, we're going to draw some blood and do an ultrasound to see if anything abnormal has appeared. Okay, I said as I closed my eyes. I hate needles. When I was younger, I watched a scary movie where the bad guy gave his victims a shot of something that made them slowly go insane. Ever since then, needles have been a no-go for me. Thankfully, it didn't take long to get the amount of blood needed for whatever tests they were going to run. Next with the ultrasound, and let me tell you that gel is cold. After the blood was collected and the ultrasound was finished, the doctor asked Jonathan to help me sit up. Then he left, once again leaving me alone with that questioning gaze. He let out a sigh. You know, being rejected can help explain why you aren't healing properly. I'm not rejected, just unwanted, I said quietly. I won't be rejected until tomorrow. What? I asked him not to reject me until tomorrow. I didn't want to be rejected on my birthday. Everything clicked and pity filled his bright blue eyes. Please don't look at me that way. You don't have to pity me. Elijah's an idiot, he said between clenched teeth. He ran a frustrated hand through his black hair. I looked up at him, completely shocked. What? Jonathan shook his head lightly. I lost my mate, and it nearly killed me. He knows what losing a mate can do to someone. He let out an agitated sigh. I haven't known you long, but I know you deserve to be treated better than that. I felt a blush creep up my cheeks, so I covered my face with my hair. He let out a soft chuckle. By the way, where are your friends? They're probably wondering why you aren't at school, he said, trying to lighten the mood. I don't have any, I said awkwardly. You don't have any friends? I shook my head, not looking at him. I know he's going to ask why I have no friends, but he won't believe me. And why would he? It's because of Rose I have no friends. For as long as I can remember, she made sure no one would even want to look at me. After a few years, people just forgot I existed. I gave up on having friends a long time ago. Well, I know you aren't new here, so how is it you have no friends? You probably wouldn't believe me if I told you, I said with a sigh. Try me. Why? I asked, getting frustrated. What do you mean, why? Why do you care? We've never spoken before this, so why? No, we haven't spoken before, but everyone needs a friend. If you don't have any, then I'll take that spot in your life. Why would you do that? Because no one should have to go through losing their mate alone. There was an immense sadness in his eyes. I nodded when the doctor came back in. Both of us turned our attention to him, awaiting his orders. Well, it turns out that your wolf is too weak right now to heal you. Because of this, we're going to have to inject you with a serum to boost your healing ability, he explained. I gulped and looked at him before closing my eyes. Jonathan was now walking me to his car. Whatever was in that shot helped a lot. I was now able to walk with a slight limp, and the dizziness was gone. The doctor did say, however, that I wouldn't be fully healed until tomorrow. One side effect of it, though, was extreme drowsiness, so I wasn't about to fight the sleepiness that came over me. But I didn't miss Jonathan softly say the words, "so cute," before passing out.